And what it up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Denzel B. Ren signing on with you guys and girls, here to talk to you about the movie review that I just seen. Is the Fantastic Four First Steps, Marvel's 37 for 38 film, I think it is, in the series franchise and everything. And I must tell you, this film is fantastic. That's right, I said it. No pun intended. I meant to say that, but fantastic throughout. I really enjoyed this film, and this is the fourth time and the fourth thing that Marvel has tried to do. And you know they say third time's a charm? Well, for these family, four time is the charm. So let's talk about this.
We will protect you.
So in this review, this is going to be a 1 minute non-spoiler review. And then overall else, I'm going to be talking about things, more spoilers and stuff like that. So get ready for this 1 minute non-spoiler review. So the film opens up basically about the Fantastic Four family in a different universe on Earth 828. They bump into Silver Surfers, just trying to threaten them about this world and everything. And she says, here I come, Galactus is going to come. And he sees that you have a baby or someone that's very powerful of cosmic levels, and he's coming to devour your world, and so on and so forth. So now Reed Richards, Sting, Johnny Storm, and Sue Storm had to think all this big thing, had to save their universe from the intergalactic threat of Galactus, man. And the family has to do their part to do what they gotta do. And I must say, the dynamics of each and every one of these family members, man, is so great and so dope, man. The chemistry, the action, the story, and also the world of it too, man. I love the 1960s aesthetics to it as well too, and everything gives like a different tone and everything. I did say, and yeah, that's basically just the story. And I did say that that was non-spoiler, so that's your non-spoiler. I can't help it, so I gotta talk about spoiler territory. So this is now, the whole thing's gonna be fully spoiled and everything. What I gave the film, I give the film a 4 out of 5 stars and everything. But I'm gonna go more detail into that, so on and so forth. So, spoiler talk, you have been warned, so drop it. If you don't care about it, so on and so forth, just listen to the video and just come on through. Let's just talk about it, everything, so on and so forth. So, so let's get to the point. The Fantastic Four First Steps. Like I said, this is Marvel's fourth attempt of doing the Fantastic Four. They tried it in 1994 version, which I have never seen before, which that never worked out, and it looked cheesy and looks whack. Okay, just looks whack and everything. But I grew up with the 2005 and 2007 with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba, Michael Kilkias, and other cast members as well too. That Fantastic Four, and it was cheesy, but I enjoyed it during my time of childhood by watching them. I was introduced to these characters as well too because of that film, and also the little PlayStation 2 video game that made me intrigued with the Fantastic Four thing. The Rise of Silver Surfer was my personal favorite and everything. I really liked that movie, but it could have been fleshed out a bit more, and Doom still sucked on all these Fantastic Fours, and I will never, ever, 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 ever talk about Fan Foresting. That movie is sin in my ears and sin in my eyes. There's nothing fantastic about that film anyway. But when this came out, when I heard the first casting of Pedro Pascal, I was like, as Mr. Fantastic, I was like, yeah. Everybody was on the wall against it and everything, so on and so forth. But he surprised me. I really enjoyed his Reed Richards. We got to remember, this is a Fantastic Four in their own different universe. This is Earth 828. This is not the Marvel Cinematic. It's in the Marvel Cinematic, world and everything, but you don't have to do your homework and everything. Like, you got to watch all culminations of all the films so you can get up to why we're here at this point and building up to the moment and stuff like that. No, this film is just like on its own world building and so on and so forth and everything. Now, getting back to Pedro Pascal, he's in every movie, of course, yes, Mandalorian, and he's doing other great things, so on and so forth and everything, but he sold me as Reed Richards. I really enjoyed his Reed Richards and everything. His intelligence, his motivation, and just who Reed Richards is. I believe he captured the spirit of this Reed Richards and this alternate version reality of Reed Richards in this film and everything. Smart, intelligent, and sometimes Reed can be a little jerk like he is in the comic books every now and then. But overall, I believe Pedro Pascal did a great job and he pulled it off and everything, especially holding that responsibility of the world, the weight on his shoulders, and also the responsibility of being a father to their child as Franklin. Sue Storm. And of course, like everything, you heard the rumors that it could have been a woman taking over a man's role, leading movie, and the woke messages, so on and so forth, and everything. That was not in the film, of course, and everything. I believe she did a great job as Sue Storm. Sue Storm had like a mother characteristics to her, so on and so forth, which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the thing as well, too, and everything. He didn't, do too much, but he did with a purpose. I believe that they established him in this film. He did with a purpose in this film. That he gave him what needs to be done. Johnny Storm, Human Torch, I was very impressed with because, we always know him. He's the ladies' man. He's a charmer and everything. And then you heard rumors about in this film that they toned down his character and so on and so forth anyways. They didn't do too much. They kept it in an intelligent, balanced way, if you get what I'm saying. Because there's a scene where he was flirting, like kind of get chemistry flirting with Silver Surfer in a way, but he did it in a smart, technical way, not like no womanizing way. Like he used his charm, like the Johnny Charm, Hot Boy's charm, but it was very mature in certain ways. He was still Johnny, but not like a jerk, immature Johnny, if y'all get what I'm saying, And I also love Johnny and Ben Grimm's relationship too throughout the film and everything. They're ranting, going back and forth and everything. Not like a bully, but like a family type thing. And this is what this film is all mostly about. The theme of it is family and hope, and what would you sacrifice more for your child? Would you sacrifice your child, or would you sacrifice it for the world, etc.? Great themes, great things, and stuff like that. And Franklin Richards, of course, is introduced in the MCU, and you know how powerful, if you read the comic books, how that child is a very great cause of being. If Galactus is saying that, that child right there, he belongs. I need that child to breathe off or quench off my hunger and so on and so forth. Because Galactus, as you know, he eats planets and everything. Why? It's just because it's comic books and he could just do that. Okay, there's no explanation of why, who, or something like that. But I really, really love, I know my brain's going all over the place and everything, so y'all just bear with me. I really, really love the scope of how they did Galactus. Not like in 2007 Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer, when he was just a big giant cloud, and I think back then the creators were saying, oh, it must be too lazy, looks too cheesy, stuff like that. No, but if you do it right, and not in a campy way or whatever it is, slick forth, and writing is great, then it wouldn't be a problem. What they did to this Galactus here, he felt like people were watching Transformers, the 1984 movie, give me like a Unicron kind of vibes. He's sitting there in his throne, and then you see his lights, if you see in the trailers and everything, his blue eyes light up just like boom. I was like, ooh, and I felt that, I was like, it gave me like that comic booky feel. I was just smiling throughout, man. Just his presence and his voice. His voice was just dominating. And I watched this film, I didn't see it in IMAX, but I saw it in Dolby Cinema with the atmospheric speakers on the ceilings, etc., 4K, all that stuff. But they said if I would have saw it in IMAX, his big scope and everything would have been bigger. But the sound of him when he spoke, it trembled the whole theater and stuff too, man. And he's just an intense, scary guy. Like, he really wants this goal. I want this baby. I want this kid. And the Fantastic Four, but I really like how they did in the film is that they said, you know what? When Silver Surfer came in to threaten the world, they're like, all right, you know what? Let's just reason with the guy. Now, like other superheroes, like if they were the Avengers or whoever it is, they usually just go over there, just beat the person up. But no, they said, no, let's reason with him. But when Galactus said what he had to say, the Fantastic Four is like, all right, you know what? Screw this, you are not getting my child, so and so forth. And there was this awesome scene that I really enjoyed. The whole movie had brilliant sequences. Like when they were in space, it gave me like an interstellar vibe with Star Trek Into Darkness vibes in a way, when they were traveling through space, and then Silver Surfer was chasing the Fantastic Four and Johnny's trying to shoot it. And the interesting thing was kind of scientific and interesting in a way that when Johnny shot the fire beam, it kind of dashed off into like a wormhole space thing, something like that, which was very interesting because some movies don't focus on that, but I'm glad little details like that, I thought it was dope and everything. And I love the intentions of Mr. Fantastic's brain still thinking of what to do, how to survive, and other team members are just panicking, but I love that they are all combinating, working together. Now this is a team that don't have no Avengers, no X-Men, none of that. This is just their world, and the world's counting on the weight of their shoulders. And when Galactus is coming in with their threats and everything, then Reed is telling the people, listen, Galactus is coming, we got a newborn kid and so on and so forth, he wants our baby. And the world's like, okay, you're Mr. Fantastic, you're the smart guy, can you help us out? And with that doubt came his brain like, I don't know. Hey, what you mean I don't know? You better know, you gotta save us, so on and so forth. So I like the ending part as well too, and so on and so forth. The whole everything is great. And then this is the thing that I enjoyed about the movie: the stakes that was coming in, the suspense. Because Reed Richards in the mid-film, he was making an idea that he says, "What if you want to transfer Earth into another universe?" And thinking about that, I was like, "That's genius." And I was thinking, I don't know what y'all were thinking too, but I was thinking this way while watching the film: if he was going to transfer that whole world of people, I guess, into Earth 616, where the Avengers and all the other people in that Marvel universe exist. I was thinking that's how they're going to wind up in Avengers Doomsday and all the chaotic. But I was wrong. No, they didn't go that way, so on and so forth. So, and I was also thinking too, now if Reed transferred that, would a world Earth go into a cosmic shift and the planets, and what if you get close to the sun and ways to get away from Galactus? That could cause some little mayhem, stuff like that. Good thinking, but I don't know, Reed. But anywho, yeah. But I also love the mother and father thing. What would you do for your son? Sacrifice and everything. And the CGI baby, CGI baby, he was cute in certain scenes. He was real, but everything. Some of the CGI was like, yeah, a little iffy, so and so forth. But you know, and it phased me and so on and so forth. Now getting to the end part of the sorry, my brain is all over the place. I heard some people say they didn't like how certain things were ending, of, you know, the teamwork and everything. I don't know what movies y'all were watching, so on and so forth. I really enjoyed that intention and the suspense of Galactus getting that baby, and I just love it. Just seeing the big giant scope of him overshadowing, like you saw in the trailers, in New York, and then just stomping his way into the streets and everything. And I know the Fantastic Four told people just get out and clear out the way and so on and so forth, so you know they could booby trap him with the baby. But I loved how they used Galactus intelligently. He didn't use it as dumb, like, ooh, found the baby's like, He used a little eye scanner thing and nope. Baby's right there in the Baxter building. So the Fantastic Four is doing all their part in all their ways to defend Galactus, you know, stop him from getting Franklin and so on and so forth. And I think half of nobody didn't talk about Herbie. Herbie, I loved it. Herbie, he was great and he was adorable. I love Herbie. It makes me want to get the merchandise. And Mole Man, which was interesting. That's a guy who played in Cobra Kai. I can't think of his name right now. Y'all forgive me, but he has some really comedic lines and moments. And looking at Mole Man, you know, he's like a cheesy villain, so on and so forth. And he also reference other villains of the Fantastic Four as well too. But that guy was great. If we get more scenes with that guy, that would be dope and everything. And also to pinpoint too, if I go more into ending too, I love that in the reference thing that when they were in the World Council kind of thingy, it was all countries and they showed Latveria, and Latveria, of course, that's where Dr. Doom is at. But you know, them people are not present because we know the fate and future where that's going to lead up to and everything. That was a good reference to and everything. And yeah, so getting back to the ending, yeah, so Galactus, you know, he almost got the baby and so on and so forth and everything. But then Sue Storm displayed this dramatic, immense of power. You know, I'm not gonna say like powerful as Dark Phoenix or anything, so on and so forth. But I know she's very powerful. I said, oh my goodness, if she could push that big giant threat through a big giant space hole and worm thing, then that woman is OP in certain ways and everything, you know. But she just showed her that's when I was on the edge of my seat, because she's draining all her power, all her might. But what I felt through that was that, what will a mother do for that child? You're like, give me back my baby, give me back my baby, you know. You would do the same thing too, shoot and everything. And they used Johnny Storm really intelligent this way, because when Silver Surfer gave him that kind of language, like blessing language and so on and so forth, everything, Johnny's been studying it, and I like the interaction with him between him and the Silver Surfer chick, and his homework that he's doing with her and making the connections with her. And there is a scene in the moment, before I get to the ending, I know my brain's over the place, so y'all forgive me. There is a scene that I really enjoyed where Johnny trying to bait the Silver Surfer in, but he was playing all the sound effects and stuff like that around the city, and she was being reminiscent of her past sins, of what she did while serving Galactus, killing other people, so on and so forth. That was an arc that I wish that we could have gotten more and dive deeper into the film. You know, like I said, we know who the Fantastic Four is, so on and so forth, but the film I just wish could have been a little bit longer and stretchier, no pun intended, stretchier than it was, so we could dive more deeper into the characters a little bit, so on and so forth, of their world and backstory, especially Silver Surfer chick and everything. And if you know in the comic books, it's very comic accurate and so on and so forth and everything, how she, you know, but at the end of her paid off when I love the part where the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, was going to fly through the thing and it was going to stop Galactus. He says, tell Franklin, I'm the uncle. I ain't got no kids or anything, but tell my nephew I love him. I'm doing this just for him. So you can see that he's about to make that ultimate sacrifice. I said, wait a minute. So he might get trapped and lost in the universe. I'm thinking like Avengers Doomsday, so on and so forth. We might bump him up in there, so on and so forth. But it was dope though, because I love his heart and commitment of that. But he didn't. And my whole theater, including me, applaud when Silver Surfer pushed Galactus into that portal and made a nice little, cute little sacrifice of helping the team, so on and so forth. That part was really dope and everything. And then afterwards, Sue Storm fainted and she died basically. But of course, you know, you have your superpowered baby Franklin, you know, giving her that little touch of love of bringing back. And yeah, the whole world is safe and everything. I thought the opposite way. I thought Galactus was going to say, hey, if you don't give me the child, I am going to eliminate your whole world. I was thinking about Galactus going to eliminate the whole world, and Fantastic Four had to sacrifice themselves and go into outer space, and they might join to Earth 616. But that didn't happen at all. It was a total opposite how I was thinking. So after that, you know, their family safe, getting back to normal, they're living their lives and so on and so forth. And yeah, and basically that's just your whole movie and everything. But like I said, the highlights for me in this movie were the music, the tone. It was balanced. It wasn't too jokey and too, you know, Marvel seriousness, you know, jokey ways and craziness. It was well balanced, and it wasn't like, you know, like how James Gunn's Superman was, you know, serious moments, then it got too jokey and so on and so forth. You know, I enjoyed Superman as well too, just like pointing that out there, Superman thing. But I feel like this had a better dynamic, in my opinion, of how some parts of Superman should have happened and so on and so forth. But overall, I love the feeling. Like I said, the music, characters, the 1960s world, technology, Galactus, and everyone else in this was brilliant. Finally, a Fantastic Four movie that is good. Awesome. It's not perfect, but this is excellent in my opinion, and I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. And yes, I will buy it on 4K Blu-ray, and I will most definitely watch this again and again and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed this character until we get our real Earth 616 Fantastic Four. I don't know what Marvel's going to do there, but I'm excited about the quality that we have received from Marvel. So we get into the better Marvel territory. And of course, there's 2 post-credit scenes, of course. The last post-credit scene is just like a cute, fun thing, which they could have just left in the mid-credit scenes and stuff like that. Mid-credit scenes, very important, because the mid-credit scene is going to lead, this event is going to lead us all the way up to Avengers Doomsday. And of course, you see, you know, it's 4 years past, and the Invisible Woman is having a little cute little fun time with her little Franklin, 4-year-old Franklin now and everything. But as she's going in the back, doing her little mommy thing, so on and so forth, you could already feel the disturbance of the force of presence that's coming in. And then when soon you see her face, jaws drop down, all you see is a hooded figure with green cloak, and he has like a mask on the left side of his hand. And he's talking to the child and everything. Now I don't know if Franklin Richards I don't know if he's seeing the scar face of Doctor Doom, because we know it's Doctor Doom. He's going to be the next villain for the Avengers. The scar face of Doctor Doom, or it's just a very friendly face, you know, because we know whose face is going to be Doctor Doom, of course. And then that's how it ends. It gave me goosebumps, of course, and everything. And the mask didn't look too Iron Man-y, so it looks very doomishly Doom, and so on and so forth. Yeah, but like I said, I enjoyed this film and everything. Great giant summer blockbuster film. And out of all the films, I saw Jurassic World. Superman, awesome-tacular. Fantastic Four, fantastic. I know. And stuff like that. Like I said, I rate this film literally a 4 out of 5 stars, man. I enjoyed Fantastic Four and Superman. Super fantastic. That's the hashtag meme and everything, so on and so forth. If I'm missing anything, I don't think I'm missing anything, and so on and so forth. But I really enjoyed this film. I love this film. And I can't wait to see where they're going to take these characters in the next future and everything. And well, that's my spoiler talk of Fantastic Four, first steps and everything. Great movie, great brilliant thing. So what do you guys and girls thoughts about the new Fantastic Four film? Did you like it? If it was mad, give it an A, B, C, or dip out of here, D. Comment below and let me know. Also, if you enjoy my thoughts, reactions, and reviews, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. More videos are posted each and every other day or week or whenever I feel like it. Alright? But in the meantime, this is me signing out with a bang and 5 Fantastic Four.